I was in a case I pressed on with Grant Neal, who returns to action at Bellator 278. Grant, how are you?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be talking with you. Um, Man, you're 16 days out. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling strong, focused, ready to show everybody, show the world what I've been working on.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. Before we get to your upcoming fight, man, I saw that you got engaged. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I definitely got engaged and I'm excited about it. And we're, we're planning wedding stuff. And so that's nice. It's fun.
Awesome. When's the big day?
It'll be next year. So it gives me a little time to, you know, take care of business in the cage.
Awesome, man. Again, congratulations. So it's been 7 months since your fight with Alex Polizzi. I just want to know, firstly, what'd you learn from that fight?
Don't leave it to the judges for sure. Yeah, we really broke down that fight completely. We were extremely candid about things that were happening within that fight, and even being candid, we were like, man, I don't understand where they see this and that. And that being said, you don't know what's in people's minds, and so uh, the goal is never to leave it to the judges, but there are some little areas that I could have capitalized a little more to uh, make it even more persuasive, if not get a finish.
Interesting. Um, I find it fascinating how professional athletes deal with their first professional loss. And I think that was your first loss in fighting, period, correct?
Yeah.
What were the emotions like that night?
I was just kind of in shock. I really felt like I had gotten it taken away from me.
Mm.
Because I came out and like uninjured, like I felt like I did everything to win that fight. And so I was extremely frustrated, but that frustration turned into like a deep-seated drive. And I just made a couple promises to myself, and had some words, and we give ourselves a 24-hour rule. So like the biggest thing for me is my goal isn't just like to be here in Bellator. My goal is to be the best in the world. And I had an opportunity to really take that situation and learn from it. And so I had a 24-hour rule to like deal with everything that I needed to deal with, all the emotions. And then it was just like back to the grind, back to the work. And this the power and preparation really helps you get through that. And it's not like I haven't lost before. So in high school, I was a two-time state champion wrestler, and in my semifinals match my junior year, I actually ended up wrestling a guy who just got third at Worlds. His name is Giangelo, and I threw him to his back. But before that, earlier in that season, I had lost like 4 or 5 times, and so I always am a believer in power of preparation, and I can beat guys when any day of the week. So loss is loss, but I feel good.
That's that's good that you feel good, man. I guess this might be a dumb question, but do you feel like now that you don't have that zero by your name, that like there's less pressure on you?
I never really felt that much pressure of having a zero. To
Hmm.
be honest, I my goal was to just get fights that will get me closer to mm, what I want to do, and that's to be the best. And so, whether you have to have a tough lesson like taking a loss or whatever, as long as I am on that trajectory to be the best, that that I never really felt that type of pressure. And it's cool because I all my performances have been pretty awesome. So, like I know that the organization was very happy with me and what I've been putting together. So I think that that's like mostly the pressure that a lot of the professional athletes feel, because this is our livelihood and you got to feed your family. And That type of pressure is definitely real. But as far as my performance, like, hey, like I'm gonna perform no matter what. So I like the pressure of the zero is nothing to me.
Gotcha. All right. So you get another tough opponent for your next outing, man. You get Christian Edwards. How do you like that matchup?
I love it. I think it definitely feeds into everything that I love to do. Um, I'm not gonna give too much of the game plan away or anything like that, but we have a lot of things for fighters that fight similar to Christian Edwards, and I've fought a lot of fighters that are similar to his style and what he does, and we brought a lot of guys into the camp, and it's been phenomenal, to be honest.
Awesome. Awesome. Man, so he comes with a lot of hype. Do you think that hype is warranted?
Yeah, man, give him as much hype as possible. That's I want the most hype on everybody. The biggest thing with me is like, hey, you got to do your job. So like, he could have all the hype in the world. I could have all the hype in the world, but ultimately you got to perform. And so whether the hype is warranted or not, that's not for me to be the judge. But all I know is I'm gonna do what I came to do, and I, I hope he's ready, man. I love it. Like, this is something that I genuinely love doing, and not only do I love it, I know where I am, and I know I'm gonna be the best. So it's just it's just a matter of time before I was like, hey, if he's on that trajectory too, and he believes he's gonna be the best, we're gonna see each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this fight is it is probably the best fight on the card, man. It's so exciting. Two hot prospects colliding. You're both coming off your first professional loss. So there's just there's a lot of juice to this fight, man. When it all comes down to it, how do you see this fight playing out? And do you have a prediction for the fight?
My prediction is that it's going to be violent, and I always put on a show. So I predict me doing everything that I've trained in this camp and then some, and getting the win. And if it has to be gritty and nasty, it'll be gritty and nasty. If it's flashy and I'm stunting, it's going to be flashy and stunting. If I'm talking shit, getting him out of his game while we're in the cage, then we're doing that. If we're having fun with each other, that's what it is, right? And we're both warriors. Like, it's gonna be that's what it's gonna be. So wherever the fight takes us, whatever route it goes, I do see my hand getting raised at the end of the night. So I'm excited.
If you happen to see did you happen to see his loss to Big Tuna? And I guess,
Yeah, we fought the same night.
oh yeah, that's
So
right, that's right. You did. What were your thoughts on that knockout? I guess.
hey, it's tough to see anybody, like, I mean, we're all fighting for our livelihood. So, it's just tough to see anybody get knocked out that bad. Um, it's brutal. It's a brutal sport. It definitely brings you to realization. In the back, we had a couple words with each other, and I just gave him some words of encouragement, and just a lot of respect. It's a lot of people can say what they want, but not many people are raising their hand to put it all out there and get in the cage and potentially have that happen. It's we're wearing 5-ounce gloves, so anybody could get knocked out. So, like, for anybody to downplay him as a real fighter, or to give him shit because he got knocked out by Big Tuna, I was like, you get in there and freaking get in the cage. So my opinion on that is, like, yeah, that happens. Sometimes people get lucky, and kudos to Big Tuna, so it is what it is.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. Finally for me, what do you want the rest of your year to look like? Do you want to be, you were active last year. Do you want to just keep this ball rolling?
Yeah, I'm a little frustrated that I'm not as active right now. like I said, I took no damage, had no injuries after the last fight, and so I told Bellator, I was like, I'm ready to get in the cage next week. I'm ready to go. I'm the type of fighter that I'm never out of the gym. So I like after a fight, I take my weekend. I'm back in the gym on Monday. So it's that's just the way it is. I'm always ready, so I don't have to get ready. So I think during COVID, I was probably the most active 205 pounder in the weight class. And then I was very active last year as well. So, man, if the fights make sense, like, let's go.
Was it just Bellator couldn't find you a fight? Is that why you sat on the sideline for 7 months?
I just believe it, just some of the matchups going on. And then a lot of people just coming off a COVID year and people wanting to fight and booking cards. And it's just stuff that was just out of my control and just had to be patient. But yeah, we were ready the whole time. So
Gotcha. And then finally, this is the final question. The light heavyweight Grand Prix final is right around the corner. I just wanted your thoughts on who do you think is gonna become champion?
oh man, I mean, I've been watching both the guys very closely throughout. Well, I just kind of grew up watching both of them, so it's kind of cool to be in the conversation with uh, the likes of Nimkov and the likes of Corey Anderson, and so I'm excited to see um, how it all plays out. I mean, Nimkov is very solid everywhere, and I mean, Julius gave him gave him a great look off of short notice, and he didn't he didn't falter, he didn't waver, and he was still there. So I mean, he's a true champion, and I think that it's going to be a great fight is my prediction.
Grant, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Love chatting with you. If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors you got, you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so my social media is Grant Neal on Twitter, Grant Neal 34 on Instagram, and then I have all my Grant Neal merch. I just dropped my first merchandise for the Hawaii fight, and you can find that on millions.co under Grant Neal. If you go and buy the merch, it's going fast. So this is the first merch drop. So if you want to have a piece of memorabilia on my way to the top, go and get that. Thank you.